Welcome to Take Back Retirement, the show for women 50 and better facing a financial future on their own. I'm Stephanie McCullough, and along with my fellow financial planner, Kevin Gaines, we're going to tackle the myths and mysteries of quote-unquote retirement so you can make wise decisions toward a sustainable financial future. Through conversations and interviews, you'll get the information and motivation you need to move forward with confidence. And we'll be sure to have some fun along the way. We're so glad you're here. Let's dive in. Coming to you semi-live.
And now in CinemaScope.
From the beautiful West Lakes Office Park in suburban Philadelphia, this is Stephanie McCullough and Kevin Gaines of Sofia Financial and American Financial Management Group. Say hello, Kevin.
Hello, Kevin.
So we thought we'd bookend our divorce series this year with another little video summary of what we learned. So we had 5 episodes on divorce kind of from different angles. And we thought we would kind of share our overall takeaways from the discussions.
Well, first thing I want to say is congratulations to the two of us, because as we said, our stated goal was not to say legal step 1, legal step 2, legal step 3. We avoided talking about legal steps 1, 2, and 3. So we did something right.
We did something right. And you know what I realized when I was looking back on it is that all of our guest experts not only are true experts in their area, but they've been through divorce themselves. So they really bring personal experience along with experience working through the issues of many of their clients and a lot of empathy, which I appreciate.
Right. I mean, and I think, they brought out a lot of good points for us to discuss. The overarching theme, I would say, is similar to what we talk about with, financial planning, retirement planning, which is be deliberate, do your homework, and understand that taking one action could impact several other things, and understanding where those impacts are going to land. And it can make for a much smoother process.
It's true. That was one of the big things that I thought about when we looked back on the series, was that everyone was kind of saying, what is right for you may not be what was right for your sister, for your cousin, for your best friend. So you do need to take that time and do the work to figure out what's going to be the best thing for you. And I would say, Kevin, that's one of the things that I hope is useful for even our listeners who aren't facing divorce or maybe went through divorce 20 years ago, right? It's not just for people who are facing this exact situation.
Correct. It's not only divorce here and now, it's divorce in the past or never divorce. But to that point, our first conversation with Tracy, the forensic accountant, which was an incredibly cool conversation. But, some of the stuff she talked about, people should be doing every day. Well, maybe not literally every day, but, check your credit report. Mm-hmm. That's just basic good financial planning. But in this case, maybe something weird shows up there. Or because you're married, some sort of judgment could be showing up, or some sort of attachment from certain government agencies, but things that could come as a hell of a shock to you when you sit before the judge or the mediator. And it's like, whoa, where did this come from? Or it just completely slips underneath everything. And next thing you know, you're on the hook for an extra $100,000 that you never saw coming.
Right. A lot of it was, not one size fits all, but I think that's one of the 2 takeaways that is one size fits all. Get educated on your financial situation. It's perfectly fine if you and your spouse have a division of labor and the spouse is the one who takes the lead on the financial stuff. That's totally understandable, but you don't want to be completely in the dark, because when crisis comes, whether it's somebody going to the hospital or all of a sudden a divorce, you don't want to be starting from scratch at that point, right? Which is kind of what Monica shared in her story that she has so generously put together in her book now, Grab Your Slice of Financial Independence. Really realizing how much debt she was all of a sudden in as a single mom without reliable employment, right? We don't want to have those unpleasant surprises.
Right. I actually had a conversation with a client the other day, And she was telling me that when her husband got sick and, it was inevitable that, we're talking terminal hospice, she sat down with her sister-in-law every night, every other night, just walking through all the different pieces of paper, trying to get a handle on the things because in her case, her husband handled all the finances.
Yeah.
So again, we're not talking just a divorce in general, but there we go.
Yeah. That is definitely universal advice, I would suggest. From Sheila, our divorce coach, one of the things she suggested, which again, I think can behoove a lot of women, is brushing up on your negotiation skills, because that can come in handy, again, in a divorce or in an employment situation, or if you're a freelancer, or heck, even with, a medical bill. Having some negotiation skills is another thing that we don't often get taught and feels intimidating, but it's definitely tackleable.
Right. I mean, just, simple things in helping your finances, asking for a raise. Now, that was with, oh
Monica.
My gosh. Thank you. I'm drawing a blank. Clearly, we know who the brains of this outfit are. Thank you, Stephanie. But yeah, so she was talking about asking for the raise and just getting comfortable with that idea, which, is uncomfortable for many of us. So I think that was a good thing. And I just want to point out, if you'll notice, as we're having these conversations, we're talking about a particular point, and then we touch on some or all of the episodes because these things keep coming up, which is why we're highlighting them.
For sure. The other big universal recommendation for everyone was our conversation with Rebecca, the estate planning attorney. She, again, has been through divorce, works with a lot of clients, has a lot of advice for people, both in the divorce process and post-divorce process. And as we pointed out in that episode, really everybody should be doing all this stuff. Make sure your legal documents are up to date, please. Our lives are changing all the time. And Kevin's favorite thing, legal and documents include, what is it?
Beneficiary forms.
That's right.
Make sure you get those updated. And the other thing that Rebecca pointed out or reminded us was, listen, when you're married, okay, fine. You don't have all of the different power of attorneys and other documents signed, but you have a spouse that is entitled to make certain decisions on your behalf. When you're single, you don't have that anymore. And when you're getting divorced, you may not want them having those powers. So, in addition to trying to figure out how to untangle your life and start a new one, understand that during this transition period, there's some stuff that everybody forgets about.
Yeah, that's very true. Our conversation with Ellen, the mediator, she does mediation, not just divorce, but she does a lot of divorce work. And again, she has also been through her own divorce, right? I thought it was interesting, the contrast between the role of the divorce coach, who's really your advocate through the process and might help you prep for your sessions with your lawyer or mediator, whereas the mediator is the impartial person in the situation between you and your soon-to-be ex. So understanding whether you might be a good candidate for mediation, right? You're going to have to do some standing up for yourself. So if that might be difficult for you, maybe mediation's not the right way, or maybe you want to make sure you're super comfortable with the mediator so that you feel comfortable bringing your own point of view and perspective up with them.
Right. And that gets to being with people you trust. Now, a mediator isn't going to be on your side, but you're still going to want to be able to trust that mediator is going to be, in this case, fair and impartial. Divorce coach, forensic accountant, you definitely want to trust them that they truly are on your side. But frankly, my biggest takeaway from a conversation with Ellen was finding somebody else who appreciated the War of the Roses the way I do.
The movie.
The movie. Yes. Not the historical conflict. Although, once you see the movie, you realize, this almost got as bloody. But no, it was great to be able to have that conversation. And hey, just saying, if you're thinking about divorce, definitely will prepare you for the darker side.
Well, and it might, again, one of our goals with this podcast is to help empower you with the questions to ask. Ask of yourself, to ask of your significant other, to ask of your professionals in your life, to ask of other people that you're dealing with. So if you've caught a few questions along the way that would be helpful to you, then we are super grateful that you've been listening, that you're watching this one. We're so happy you're with us. We'll talk to you next time. It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from her.
Be sure to subscribe to the show and please share it with your friends. Show notes and more information available at takebackretirement.com. Huge thanks for the original music by the one and only Raymond Loewy through New Math in New York. See you next time.
Investment advice offered through Private Advisor Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Private Advisor Group, American Financial Management Group, and Sofia Financial are separate entities. The opinions voiced in this material are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual security. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. This information is not intended to be substitute for individualized tax advice. Please consult your tax advisor regarding your specific situation.